And welcome to Around the Metaverse, our weekly show. We bring together the best content creators from the Web3 gaming community, talk about all the recent news, and give you guys everything you need to know to stay up to date. My name's Adam. I'll be your host today, but as always, and more importantly, we've got a great group of guests for y'all today. Some returning faces and some new ones, so it'll be a great show for y'all. First and foremost, we got CryptoStache in the house on this fine Monday. How's it going, Stash?
Today is a momentous day. I don't know. I don't know if everybody else saw us, but we saw Richard Hart being indicted. We'll say indicted, but Richard Hart being named by the SEC. It's crazy how these guys just double down. They're just like, screw it, let's go after Richard. I don't know, man. Weird.
The SEC, and not only that, I mean, not something that we're going to be talking about here on the show today, but some murmurs about them coming after Coinbase again too, which doesn't look too
They
good.
did, yeah.
Potentially,
I know. It's just they're like stop selling everything but Bitcoin.
Yeah, but yeah. So
like that,
you know, existential threat or whatever. You know, that's not what we're here to talk about today. But next up, returning to the show for another episode, we've got FlyeKitesJay, aka Sanjay, heading up partnerships at Double Protocol and host of Gambit. How's it going, Sanjay? Good to have you back.
Glad to be here. Thank you for having me, and excited for this cast with King Apollo and Payton and all of it, and Alex and Stash and everybody, and also on Richard Hart. I did sacrifice some in the past, and I do hold some of his Pulse X token, I guess. So hopefully he doesn't go out for good.
I know. Shout out to all the bag holders out there that are getting a little bit of,
that's literally everyone today in crypto. You literally just shouted out everybody who's ever touched Bitcoin or crypto ever.
That's not.
Is that you were trying to get everyone to be inclusive? Is that it?
Totally true. That's not totally true.
Shit. Well, it is.
If you're out there right now and you have a positive P&L, then shout out to you, because you did it, man. You really did it.
It doesn't exist. No matter how big your overall P&L is, you got one bag. You're sitting on something. You're like, maybe if I just wait.
One bag.
And I will tell you, man, it does come around. It's weird how some projects will bump around. Just like real quick aside here, sorry. This project XYO, I had gotten coins like when they first launched way back in the day, because I had covered them right at the beginning. And I sat on these coins for 3-4 years, and now XYO is a project that's finally like coming back in to the whole scene, which is kind of crazy, and their token has gone up. And I sold like a while ago, but it's weird how that happens, man. I mean, like 5 years almost after they had started as a token, they pivoted a bunch of times. It's just like, wow.
Yeah, so who knows? Don't ever lose any of your private keys, because who knows about
there's a moral. There's a moral there somewhere, kids.
Yeah, you might stumble upon that wallet with 1 Bitcoin in it that you had from a while back or something.
Yeah, everyone has that wallet or computer that all the Bitcoins I mined, they were there, I swear.
The Xbox 360 hard drive that has all the Bitcoins on it that I used to mine. No, but next up, actually, we got 2 new faces for the show. First, we've got Payton, marketing director over at Champions Ascension and one of the founders at Wolves DAO. Payton, it's great to have you on finally. How's it going?
Finally, good to hear. I've been like playing tag with you for like for probably a few weeks now, Adam. So no, I appreciate being here. I'm super big fan of the show. I've been watching it for 2 years now, and I've been loving it ever since. So I'm very glad I got to be on here. It's been an honor.
It has been far more than 2 weeks, I'll tell you that, my friend. But just like now it worked out, So we're happy to have you on here, Payton.
I think it's been a few months actually, Adam.
Yeah. And then last but certainly not least, we've got another new face on the show. We've got King Apollo, half of What the Metaverse podcast, or what is it? What in the Metaverse podcast?
What in the Metaverse?
What in the Metaverse podcast?
WTM, you can just for short.
Yeah, the WTM podcast. And
wait, sounds like we got some competition here.
Yeah, man. Honestly, I'm a newer fan to your podcast, and then when we found out, actually, when we ran across it, we were like, oh man, I hope he doesn't think we like kind of stole it. But it's kind of cool that we kind of both have that thing, because yours is like around the metaverse, and ours is like what in the metaverse. So it's kind of like 2 different things in the metaverse, so we can coincide together. It's all cool. But King Apollo,
let it slide. I'll let it slide.
Yeah.
It's Highlander up in here, man. There can only be one. There can only be one.
Oh, man, we're gonna have to do a showdown.
No, man, I'm just playing. But King Apollo, man, Apollo, we're happy to have you on here. We got a great show for all you guys watching, and shout out to the agents who are joining us here in chat today. We've got our community mod, Captain Jaxie. It looks like we've also got Gen X Crypto in the mix today. Thank you guys for hopping on here and everyone else watching. We've got a good show to talk about tonight, guys. We're going to be talking about a lot about IP in gaming, specifically the best ways to build IP in Web3 gaming, and then a little bit about Web2 and Call of Duty, and if it makes sense for celebrities to be doing collaborations with video games. And we'll get into it. In most cases it does, but sometimes it might not. And I want to get your guys' opinions on that. But first, let's talk about the best way to build IP in what we all know and love, Web3 gaming, with a little bit of an example that I want to take a look at with Bored Ape Yacht Club and the Other Side Metaverse. I don't know if you guys watching saw or are following Other Side, but they recently just dropped last week a little bit of a new footage and snippet about a marketing experience that they set out for around 40 of the holders in the community to come out and try some of the newest updates they've been brewing for the Other Side Metaverse. You guys can check that out on the Other Side Twitter. They posted a little video that you can look at, and it looks pretty good. I know Stash has played in the previous Other Side play tests that were not public, but more open for the Other Side Bored Ape community. And some of you have as well. I want to get your guys' opinions on how they've been doing as a brand, building their IP out here in Web3 gaming, especially at a time when, you know, things are, projects are dropping left and right. So it's like, Bored Ape Yacht Club, are they doing a good job? I want to ask you guys, Stash, let me start with you. I mean, do you think Bored Ape Yacht Club and Yuga Labs, the parent company behind them, has done a good job building out specifically the Bored Ape Yacht Club IP while, you know, they are continuing to develop the Other Side Metaverse? And you know, what do you think they should do differently, if anything?
I'm glad you asked that question, Adam. I'm glad that you asked that question. All right, look here. I'm gonna drop it. This is what I think. So, has Yuga Labs done a good job? Sorry, has Yuga Labs? I pulled. I'm not even gonna do it. I pulled a Mitch McConnell. Was that? Did you guys not? Was that not a good?
Oh.
Like right in the middle. No one got. That's all right.
Pauses.
Was it too soon? Was it too soon?
I tried
to Mitch McConnell, you guys, and I didn't get a chuckle. Nobody, and I was like, all right, no one's laughing. I'm going back.
You're not dressed as like an old decrepit crony capitalist, like, or
there's no person whispering in your ear at all, Stash. You know, it's just like it's a solo show. You know.
Okay, look. Here's what I think, man. Do I think that Yuga Labs has done a good job with creating an IP here in Web3? I don't think they have. Now, let me tell you what I mean by that. The reason why I don't think Yuga Labs has done a good job creating good IP, what I do think is is twofold. Not that the Bored Apes are not a good IP in Web3. Those are two different things, right? I do think Bored Ape, the Bored Ape Yacht Club, and everything around surrounding Bored Apes, I think it is a great IP. I think they've done a great job in general. But Yuga Labs is not the people who have done a great job. It is the community. The community has done the best job here. And the reason why really is because Yuga got lucky with this NFT being the first like generative NFT, and it became a hit. Now, this easily could have been any of the other million other NFTs that are around, but they were the ones that started the whole NFT generative craze. And because of that, similar to what we see with like, you know, CryptoPunks, they were the first real NFTs. You know, they got this first mover advantage. And that gave them a lot of market share and a high price, which then in turn made them more desirable, which is one of the main ingredients you want for an IP, right? It attaches some sort of emotion to your product, and you know, through just appreciation of the NFT, it's garnered some of that. But really, how it's become a good IP is through the community members that have taken it upon themselves to actually go and create cool different IPs with this. There's people who are creating, you know, I literally have a Bored Ape vodka brand in there. My friend, you know, is doing a whole like Bored Ape. It's Punk Ape Strong. He's made like a whole like music persona out of it. We've seen multiple people do music personas out of it. We've seen people make different product brands out of their different Bored Ape. There's a whole freaking burger spot, Bored and Hungry, that is from the Bored Ape Yacht Club IP. So I don't think Yuga Labs has done a good job. I think Yuga has just kind of ridden this you know massive wave that they ended up in, and has done a good job riding the wave. But I don't think there's anything they specifically did themselves that like made that happen. I think it was really just the fact that, you know, these people ended up together in this community. The NFT popped off, and because of that, a lot of people have money, and then everyone's like, hey, but the main thing that they did do, which was they gave the IP rights, they gave the rights for the NFTs to the holders of the NFT. And that was huge in creating this IP. So the users went out and did it, not necessarily Yuga, but I do think that they're heading in a great direction. When we talk about IPs in Web3, like in NFTs or crypto, they have done the biggest job, the best job. They've been able to get celebrities to talk about it. They've gotten into the mainstream for multiple different reasons, not just, hey, it's worth a lot of money, it's a JPEG, you know? So I don't think Yuga's done a good job. I think that the Bored Ape Yacht Club community has done a good job making it a really good IP. And like you look at them in comparison to other IPs out there, they're crushing it in Web3. You know, there's some other ones out there that are trying to do a good job. Like I think Pudgy Penguins really has, you know, really stepped up and done a good job. Cool Cats I've also seen out there doing a pretty good job too. You know, I know a lot of people are like, Axie's an IP, it's amazing IP. It's not, man. They haven't done jack shit to make it an IP either. They've just been trying to coast off the success that they've had, similar to what Bored Ape has, but we haven't seen the community really take up the banner the same way that Bored Apes has with Axie. We don't see tons of people out there making all these crazy Axie things that are you know, out in the community. Not that there aren't some, but we just haven't seen that same push, right? It doesn't have the same recognizability, I would say.
Mm-hmm. You know what's funny too? I feel like Axie almost has appeal to like the Squishmallows like collector community. You know what I mean? Like
you would think, well, then they should be out there. They should be out there with Pudgy Penguins and Cool Cats, dude, at all these like conventions and at like at Comic-Con.
I mean, that's what VeeFriends is
promoting
doing,
their brand.
That's what VeeFriends. You know, Gary Vee has done with VeeFriends. But
yeah,
you bring up a great point. And like I think even more recently in terms of the Bored Ape Yacht Club community. Like Snoop Dogg is one of the really prominent community members there, and he I think just launched like his own ice cream brand that's going to be in Walmart's that also is based off of his Bored Ape IP, which is really cool too. So you know,
so I mean, there's a lot of people using it. Like it's hit that, you know, because each one of these Bored Apes, you know, has that tie, right? That you know, that emotional tie to the owner has an emotional tie to that Bored Ape. I don't feel like you see that with Axie Infinity. You know, like it doesn't have that same kind of like relate to like, this is my Axie. You know, you just have a bunch of Axies, there's a team of them, whatever. They have different traits. You swap them around for different ones. Nothing like about it is like, oh, this is mine. This is you know, this represents me.
Axie Infinity was built on the scholarship model where how could you form a personal connection to your Axies? You're literally like, you're pimping them out to like people, you know,
pimp my Axies.
Yeah, pimp my Axies.
Get back out in the street, make that SLP. Back out the street, make that S. Oh wait, oh, were you saying SLP's gone? Oh no, it's worth nothing. Oh,
yeah, So you're not making too much as an Axie pimp these days. No, but let me ask you, Payton. I mean,
I was just gonna actually respond to CryptoStache. I actually think like the opposite. I actually think like Yuga's done like very well as an IP, mostly just for the fact that like they like, I don't know, I think it comes down to like leadership in terms of that community is like empowering those specific people. I think a lot of people, we say it now in hindsight, but during that time, like, you know, the airdrops and all that kind of stuff were kind of still just popping off. So like there was also like you could also pivot really quickly too. So like Yuga and Bored Apes kind of came out as like that place, but it's still the place that everybody wants to congregate. And like I still think that's like extremely important, very underrated on that sense. And then also like they raised like 450 million. So they also like are convincing, yes, it was definitely hot back then, and like they probably raised at that time that it was hot. But I think whenever you raise that much money, you have to have some type of vision, and that requires like leadership. And that's like probably hiring people to do so. And like they've also like hired people and like publishing. I know there's this whole DAO thing that's going on. Like I know that's Jonah and all that kind of stuff is being tied up on, but like I do think that like there is like some leadership there, that like there was so much opportunity during like the NFT phase, but like they're the ones that kind of like went, and I think that they did a great job. Like I think anybody would steal for that position. And I don't know, maybe we're measuring in two different measuring sticks, but I do think that Yuga did an excellent job in terms of being that brand within the NFT market that like you also go on the street and like ask somebody what the NFTs are, good or bad. It's like Bored Apes. So I think they've done a really good job at also going into main adoption as well. Pudgy Penguins is like breaking out now, but nowhere near like the power that Yuga has.
Right, but what I'm saying is that you know the way I look at it, did they do a good job, or was it just the fact that their NFT project like you know took off? They got a shit ton of money, and like I said, I don't see any real major move that Yuga made as a company besides the fact that they turned over the IP for the NFT holders that really made them like, oh man, this move right here was really, you know, set off this as a company, really did a good. They just, like I said, they were just in a good position. They just happened to have an NFT project that took off, and what they have done a good job with is being able to pivot here over the last year in expanding into gaming and into like the metaverse world. That is really where they've made a good job, and where like leadership I think has taken the reins and has done a good job expanding things, taking over the CryptoPunk IP, you know, be able to have that too. I think those are decisions we can say that you know are credited to Yuga Labs. But I feel like really the building of the Bored Ape IP, a lot of it is really on the holders, and I think that Yuga really just kind of rode on that. Now they are starting to do some things where we have like there's DAOs that you can go and submit ideas to and get funding and things like that, but it's really just.
And I don't know the answer to this, Dash, but maybe like also like my question is like everybody had that opportunity to kind of like be that community that made other people be inspired that they want to be part of that community. And so like I don't know, actually I don't know like the origins. Maybe everybody, I think Zeneca does a really good job of it explaining. I read through some of his stuff, but I do think that the art was like beautiful. It resonated with a lot of people, like different types of psychology traits in terms of like, oh man, this Bored Ape is like me. So I think there is something to do with like the art and the generative art there to make every single matching piece like come out like nice that represents somebody. I think is like more difficult to do than like thought process. And then like the other thing is like actually fostering that community. Like when people come in for the first time, they were like undocked too. So like how do you foster that community that inspires people to like, hey, I want to build this brand more than myself. And like, yeah, maybe it is turning that. And I don't know. Like, I don't know the actual origin stories. I don't know if it was the founders or it was like you said, like other community members that just stood up and said like, hey, I want to champion this. And they just got lucky. I don't know.
It was all the
really
whales behind the scene pumping and dumping.
Yeah. Could also
be
that. They're white. They're
the like secret NFT Illuminati. You know.
Yeah, no, I mean, dude, those exist. Yeah. I don't know if you guys know, but man, they're definitely people out there that congregate together to talk about.
Say one word, Blur.io, and you pretty much
the secret Illuminati of all of Web3, pulling all of the strings. No, but I couldn't agree more, Payton. I think Yuga Labs had a part to play, like in what was going on. Like you said, like on their end, the money, like all the business side things, I'm sure they're crushing it in that respect because of like they're still here at least now, where we're seeing a ton of projects kind of start to fall by the wayside, and you know a few of them still starting to catch up, like Pudgy Penguins, Cool Cats. Right. But I want to like Sanjay, let me ask you, man. I mean, like in terms of where they've come from, do you think that Bored Ape, of anyone in Web3, they're probably in the best position, but like even with Web2 like brands and IPs, particularly in gaming, I mean, we only see a few that have lasted more than 5 years, let alone 10, right? So do you think Bored Ape Yacht Club and the Other Side Metaverse, what they're developing as the Other Side Metaverse currently, has the legs to kind of like last 5 years, or like how do you see them kind of developing over the next 5 years?
Yeah, no, great question. I think when you look at NFTs in general, right? No gaming, no, like does not matter gaming or metaverse or whatever. Bored Ape Yacht Club are basically only NFTs, which are at a level like Payton mentioned. You can go on a street and you can ask, oh, what do you think about NFTs? They might not tell you Bored Ape Yacht Club, but they'll be like, oh yeah, the monkey JPEGs or something, right? So like they just have that brand already, and there is nobody even close to that. Pudgy Penguins is the closest, but still so far away from that. From having that name out there when it comes down to normies knowing about it. So
Normies.
it has already been about like almost 3 years, I guess, a little bit more than 2 years that Bored Ape Yacht Club has been out here, and they have been just going, and they have been just doing well, and they have been building more and more, and it feels like they just never stop building. Every month, every 3 months, you look on their Twitter and they have something new, exciting coming up. So no matter the market, no matter what's going on, so like looking at the history, I think they can clearly go another 5 years. They're well funded and they're bringing a lot of capital in as well. So like if you want to try out the HVMTL game or something, you got to have the NFT. You got to buy the NFT. They're making those royalties off that NFT. The holders are making money. Everybody's making money. The revenue. People who are playing are also making money when they earn the rewards. So it's like they have this revenue coming in. They have this steady revenue coming in. They also have investors. They have these celebrities pumping their NFTs. They have no doubt that they are going to be here for the next 5 years or even 10, right? I don't see any competitor. Like if anybody wants to compete with them, why not just join them, right? So like if a Web2 company wants to jump in the NFT space and they're like, hey, we want to build something new, we want to build something exciting, the chances are they might want to just work with BAYC rather than going against and competing with BAYC. Right. So I don't know, like to me, I think it's a no-brainer. BAYC is here for, like Yuga itself is here for a long run, and 5-10 years, 100% they're going to be here as long as the crypto space itself is here.
Yeah, as long as the SEC isn't like just because I mean they're
ban it all.
Like Gen X, yeah. Well, Gen X just mentioned in chat, like that's the one that the Fed is has and will go after. Also, shout out Web3 Gaming for the super chat. Stash for president. We all know who's getting our vote, right? And then my bad, I missed y'all in the chat. Shout out.
I don't even want to be in that shitstorm, guys. Please don't do that to me. Why would y'all do that?
Right,
to me?
right. Everyone in this year's election, everyone write in secret agent stash when you go to vote. It's a write in ballot secret agent stash. No, it's no. Never mind.
I'll
don't
vote
do
for
that.
you in Canada.
Yeah, and you'd want to be the Canadian Prime Minister though? No, Stash.
Oof. I don't think so,
no.
Man.
Oof.
No. All right, Matt, we're off the rails. King Apollo, man. Let me get your opinion on Bored Ape Yacht Club. I mean, and Sanjay, I agree with you too. I think that they will probably be here in the next 5 years. Of anyone in Web3 are in the best position to stay prominent in some regard. Apollo, man, let me ask you, like, of where they've come from and where they're going, what do you like? Their project is really predominantly focused on their own community, and it's like exclusivity is kind of a cornerstone of what they're starting to build. I feel like that can only last so long if they do want to stay growing and prominent within the space, and eventually go beyond the space. Like what could they do, particularly once the other side metaverse is ready and about to come out, to be onboarding more Web2 people, like more of the people that aren't already in the community or know about them?
Yeah, like Sanjay said, they have the most recognition in Web3 right now, right? Around everybody around the board. When it comes to the gaming spirit, the exclusivity part is going to be the thing that hinders them. I feel like having it being gated to people owning hundreds of $1,000 NFTs is like really, really, really exclusive, and it's not gonna help onboard just the regulars, right? In that regard, like they have to make it more open if they're gonna try to jump into the gaming realm. If they want to stay into the NFT, the exclusivity realm, and what they're doing as far as what they're building now, they'll be perfectly fine. I don't see the model breaking. I feel it's pretty sustainable. Like Stash and Payton said, I agree with both what Stash and Payton said, right? I feel like Yuga is using their community very well to ride the wave, right? And the community's super strong and helps push the IP forward, right? But I don't think that's going to help in the gaming space. So like, sustainability as IP, yeah, them actually marketing out to bigger and growing out into like the gaming space and stuff like that, I think is gonna really be hindering if they're gonna stick with the exclusivity exclusivity model. Sorry.
No worries, man. I couldn't agree with you more there. You know, it's funny to think that I actually just had a good idea. Imagine 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 what an opportunity it would be for Bored Ape Yacht Club holders to be able to like lease out their NFT. And I know there's been some like services built around this for like Dookie Dash. I know people were doing this where like you could rent out your Dookie Dash pass to people to play on it and like get some kind of score, or like I don't actually know the specifics of how like who got the score or what, but imagine like basically the 10,000 Bored Ape Yacht Club NFTs became like basically like licenses to the game that the owners could then like lease out to people who want to play in the other side metaverse. And then it's just like, you know, your cap there is 10,000 for players, but you know, that seems like a good revenue generating opportunity for the holders, at least. I don't know. You guys, if you're listening, man, if you're listening, take some notes. No, but I don't know. I mean, I think it's interesting to see what they're going to do over the next few years here. And you know, what they might end up doing, Paulo, like what I think, like what you're saying is I don't think they're going to be able to like become a main player in the gaming space. Like the other side metaverse, I mean, how is that going to compete with just within Web3, the sandbox, outside of Web3, Fortnite and Roblox or Minecraft? Like how in the world is it going to compete with those types of things? And like what might end up happening is the Bored Ape IP is going to stay around in the form of like, you're going to be playing with your Bored Ape in Roblox, in Minecraft,
in Fortnite.
And I don't know. We'll see what happens with the other side. You know, it does look good, but like I said, it's like how are they going to compete with those
it's all about a social layer. You know, that's the whole point. And right now, Yuga is okay with only their community using their products. They will have to get outside of that zone at some point, and whether it's by diluting their NFTs or creating new NFT projects that allow access. You know, we see this like trickle down. Every NFT project that Yuga makes just it looks like a pyramid, right? I mean, I'm not trying to say pyramid scheme, but like you got your first NFT at the top, and then holding that NFT got you another NFT and another NFT, and then holding those NFTs got you two more NFTs, and they keep branching out. You know what I'm saying? Like a pyramid.
It's a web of
From
NFTs.
a gameplay standpoint,
Stash,
how'd you like
a web of flies?
How'd you like the demo, Stash? Like I actually I wasn't able to play, but how'd you like the demo of other
stuff? I mean the last trip that they did here, the second trip was actually pretty cool. Much more interesting than the first one, because there was actually something you could go do. There was, I mean, you know, there was real goals, which I thought was cool, and there was a little bit of storyline intertwined into it. The tech is really cool. I love seeing that. I mean, that's basically what it is. It's just like a tech demo on kind of a grander scale. But I think what they're doing with the other side is cool. I actually really enjoy that more than anything else. You know, I think that was one of the best moves that Yuga has made in that respect. You know, but I mean, there's a lot of, when you look at it, like what are most things in the NFT world and the gaming world really trying to do anyways? They're trying to do the exact same thing. They're trying to create an IP that people recognize. So you can never count that out. You know, if you can create and build it, however you did it, whether you did it on accident or whether it was a brilliant stroke of genius, however you do it, if you can make it happen, man, it is a big driver in your success as a company. And Yuga, you know, definitely has that. Now, like I said, there's other, you know, companies in crypto that are trying to do it, man. That is their goal. Like every NFT project, they want to be a brand, they want to be an IP, and most are not going to make it. Unfortunately, most are really just not going to make it. Even in gaming, it's hard to do too. Even with really great, recognizable things, some things just don't last the test of time.
Well, yeah, and even to be in a position to even like be successful doing like escaping, like being in more, taking your IP and being in more like realm than just gaming, like being in, like say looking at League of Legends as an example of like when they came out with Arcane, it's like, you know, like they had to, like if they weren't already the biggest game of if they weren't already the biggest game in the world, it's like, you know,
right. Well, the crazy thing about that is like back in the day, you know, getting your own game was like what you got after you already reached celebrity status. I mean, you look at like the Cool Spot. I know you guys don't remember Cool Spot, but the 7-Up Cool Spot, dude, this guy he was so big as a celebrity that he had his own, that like eventually they made a game for him. You know, it's like reverse now. It's like the celebrities are coming out of the games, and then everything, the IP like is around them. You know, which is kind of
50 Cent was another one who had a game.
Well, yeah,
and also Def Jam.
Oh, dude, and that's what I was. Yeah, I was gonna get to that later, but
or like another one, and this is a good segue into our next topic here. Another good game that was like, I don't know if it was Jack Black in the game or like what it was called. It was like Heavy Metal or something like that, or like Heavy Metal is like a racing game, I think, but it was like
Twisted Metal,
yeah, I don't know, but there was like
I think there's also like Garage Band, not Garage Band. That's the app.
I'm not talking about Rock Band or Guitar Hero, but there was like an MMO, or not an MMO, but like an action RPG game where you played as like a rock star voiced by Jack Black and like fought like rock and roll demons. I don't know. It was a heavy metal game. It was a heavy metal game. It was badass. But we're getting off the track again in a sense.
Wait, speaking of Twisted Metal, did you guys see they're doing a Twisted Metal TV show?
Yeah, I haven't caught it yet, but I did see that. It looks pretty dope. Isn't Anthony Mackie in it? I mean, the one who played Falcon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be dope. Awesome. That was a game I played a lot as a kid, so I can't wait to check that out.
Hey Dom, it's called Brutal Legend, by the way.
Brutal Legend. That's it. Thank you for the assist there. Thank you.
No problem.
But yeah, so our next, also great, and that's dope. I didn't know about the show that they're going to be making. But on our next topic here, we're going to be taking a look at a new expansion and DLC that's going to be coming to Call of Duty in the form of some new celebrity faces showing up here. That you're going to be able to start, you know, taking shots as Snoop Dogg. You're going to be able to start, laying down the lead as Nicki Minaj. And even 21 Savage is going to be out there on the battlefield with you guys, taking cover from grenades and whatnot. In Call of Duty's newest, update, they're going to be bringing those faces in and a few more into the battlefield where you'll be able to play them in Warzone and Modern Warfare 2. And I thought this was kind of funny just because, like, we see them. I feel like we see them taking now that Fortnite has come out with the Unreal Engine 5 editor and all the cool stuff that they've kind of pushed the edge on recently. Like, I feel like This is Call of Duty's like, oh shit, man, what do we do to compete with Fortnite? Because that was Fortnite's model, was like take IP from outside of our game and bring it in, and that's how like they grew to be so big and beloved. Is like you could fight Goku as Darth Vader in Fortnite, which I think it makes sense because it's like a cartoon world and like, it's like a fantasy world and it's just like a big sandbox shooter, like fun game. But to me, this Call of Duty thing is kind of corny in my opinion. I want to ask you guys what your thoughts are on it. Sanjay, let me ask you first, man. I mean, do you think it makes sense for Nicki Minaj, Snoop Dogg, and 21 Savage to be making an appearance in Call of Duty?
Does it make sense? I don't know. IPs, characters in game totally make sense, right? People will always have more fun playing a different character or a character they're familiar with rather than somebody, they don't know about, or, like how many times can Call of Duty really recycle that character Woods, right? There's a character they have Woods in Call of Duty. How many times can they really recycle him? How many, extra skins can they put on the same character until people get bored of the same character and they want to try out something new? So I think using these celebrities, using these musicians and artists and other IPs, it's a very good tool to keep people engaged, to bring more audience in, to give something exciting to the audience or to the players. Makes sense, but is it too late? I don't know. I feel like it's too late. I feel Fortnite has ran with it, and it's just like, they did it too early. They did too many. Like Fortnite did too many collabs, and they did it very early. And now Call of Duty is trying to play catch up. So I don't know if it makes sense at this time, especially when, Call of Duty has a different type of audience compared to Fortnite. Fortnite audience doesn't really care if Ninja skin gets moved out of the game or not. But Call of Duty audience does care that, oh, you just kicked out Nick Merckx and Tim the Batman and Swag a month ago. but now it's okay with Nicki Minaj or Travis Scott or whatever, right? Like these guys, like Snoop Dogg, sorry, not Travis Scott. And then if you look at, you know, like the lyrics of the songs they're singing or the things they're saying or the things they're doing, they're also not like family friendly or anything. Snoop Dogg does not move the smoking cigarette out of his mouth ever. And how is that okay? But like, you know, maybe Swag said something and then boom, oh, cancel him. Don't put him in the game because he's a brand like a you know, he could be a risk to the brand or something, brand risk. But then you got Snoop Dogg, who's like, you know, like he's like a rap star, right? Like he's like a gangster.
Hey,
right?
hey, whoa now, man! Don't be throwing shade at Snoop Dogg.
The bus.
He's retired.
Don't be throwing shade at.
He's a retired gangster. Yeah, I like that. He's a retired gangster.
He was like the OG, like he was out there, right? Or, like he was the real one, right? And I'm like, all respect to him, you know, like it takes balls to do that. But like I'm saying that's okay, but then Swag is not okay. How does that make sense?
Yeah.
No, you're right, man. I mean,
I agree.
I agree. Yeah, I think we all agree with that one, man. Yeah. What were we gonna say, King Apollo?
Nah, I was just saying, like, yeah, I feel like, you know, it's a celebrity privilege. Like, yeah, if you're up there, you kind of get that extra little bit of leeway. And like people like Wiz Khalifa, like he's got Oreo commercials, and we know he smokes more than everybody, right? So, with the whole thing with the IPs and Call of Duty, I'm gonna say it's good as long as you use the right people, right? 21 Savage and Snoop Dogg actually make sense because they're both actually in the gaming realm, right? Snoop Dogg was or is still signed to FaZe. I don't know if he still is or whatever. But has also done streams with Dr. Disrespect. He's done streams with other streamers. He's been part of a lot of gaming events, and he's been known to be a OD diehard Madden fan since like the beginning of time. Like everybody knows that about Snoop Dogg. You can't beat him in Madden. So he's been a gamer in the space. He kind of holds some weight there. 21 Savage has also been someone who's been on 2K events. He's been on stream with Kai Cenat. He's been on streams with other big streamers. He's done big wagers on streams. So he's somebody also in the gaming space. Nicki Minaj, I don't know what the hell they were thinking there. Like it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
But Nicki, no, she gotta go.
Like it just doesn't make sense. 31% of the gamers on Call of Duty are females. Correct, fine. But you take that 31% and you got to think like how many of them are Nicki Minaj fans, and how many times has Nicki Minaj even picked up any controllers of anything to play anything? We've never even heard of her gaming anywhere. So just like, if it makes sense, yeah, you should. To keep bringing them into these games.
You gotta put the hot chick in there, bro. You gotta put the hot chick in.
But you gotta pick somebody who's relevant. Like she's not relevant
making COD
anymore.
sexy again. Let's make COD sexy.
We don't know how many barbs are out there playing Call of Duty, man. We don't. Yeah.
She's the older rapper chick now. Like she's not really the one that's like in the front for. Like if they had brought a Coil Ray or a Lotto or somebody like that who's like at the forefront right now, Cardi B even, right? That would make more sense than the you know what I mean? Because
you saying she's washed up and she don't deserve that?
I agree with you. I see where you're coming from.
I'm from New York, so yeah.
I see where you're coming from. But Nicki Minaj, of all the female rappers, man, credit to Nicki Minaj, man.
For sure, she's definitely a GOAT, but she's just older. It's like Run DMC or something. Like she's out the way now.
I love Run DMC too.
I gotta add on that a little bit, right? Like I feel like Nicki Minaj to me makes more sense because, as you said, okay, Nicki Minaj doesn't come from a gaming background, right? But that's fine. But that's what these IPs do, right? Like when Fortnite had a collab with the Ghostbusters. Right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, people who have never played the game, never even touched Fortnite, but they're diehard Ghostbusters fan, they went on there and they spend the $30 to buy the skin. That's what these IPs should do. And I think Nicki makes more sense than any other gamer background because if Nicki was as popular as, you know, like the new stars, she brings a whole new community of a lot of people. Like people who have never played Call of Duty and they're like, damn, I'm a barb. I've never played Call of Duty, but I want to support Nicki. So I'm going to hop in there. I'm going to buy the $20 skin and maybe play the game a couple of times. I feel like that makes more sense to me. You know? I don't know. This is just
and
my
get cooked. Yeah.
They look really good when they get smoked out by hackers. It'll look great.
Yeah, definitely. I think like IPs should just like, why don't they just cross collaborate? Like what PUBG is doing with Street Fighter. Like why not just like do it in terms of like fictional characters that all of us like like I thought a Rambo was like a really great collab with Call of Duty. It made complete sense. And like, yeah, somebody said in chat, like, what up, Gen X? Freaking made me laugh. Like the Gen X people are like, they play Call of Duty. Yeah, do they get cooked? Absolutely. But at the same, sorry, Stash. They do get into like that aspect of like buying like Rambo skins. And I would like even want to buy Rambo skins. If you put like a movie, they did one with Godzilla as well. Like I think those are cool little aspects that they can do. But like the only thing is like Fortnite's IP now, like now they're getting into the creator tools, and then you have all those IPs that are stacking on top of those creator tools. Like you could make a Star Wars level with all those stormtroopers and like Darth Maul, and like that is freaking sick, right? Like Call of Duty does not have that. I don't think they ever intend to have that. So Fortnite's just going to keep on building this moat for sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and Payton, I think you bring up a good point. Like I saw this as them like not like a well, in a sense, sort of a desperation move for them to like continue to stay relevant. Like Stash, do you think that these sort of collaborations are necessary at a certain point for like any game to continue to be relevant? Like Fortnite founded their brand on it in a sense. Like, is this going to be something that we see basically every game have to start doing when they notice like, oh hey, the players are down, bring in the celebrities.
100%. 100%. So I mean, and games are going to start doing this not just because like, oh, players are down. Hey guys, what can we do to bring in some players? This is just going to be the way that every major title is going to work in the future, and all this is because naturally as humans we kind of gravitate towards the concept and notion of a metaverse, right? It's the same thing we're doing in physical society is the same thing. Right, we gravitate towards each other and towards the notion of this unification, right? So I think we're going to see a lot of that actually in gaming. I think every major game is going to start to do this. We've already seen it in Roblox, in Fortnite, in Call of Duty, and some of the major titles. And I think it's something that like Payton was saying, people love it. It's like it's cool. It's interesting and fun to have these things in the game. And this is essentially laying the foundations for the metaverse. Right? All these IPs interoperable all in one game. Playable, fun, different, weird, crazy. And so I love it. I think it's awesome. Now, there is a risk here, obviously, to your brand, to your metaverse, with who you might be bringing on board. And as Sandra was saying, we have, this big drama with Nick Merckx and Tim the Tatman and their bundles being removed because of things they said or positions or stances they've taken. And I'm like, dang, do you really think that Nicki Minaj and Snoop Dogg are like more wholesome, like, you know what I'm saying, like than Nick Merckx? I don't know, man. I'm not saying that Nick doesn't have his flaws, but come on, dude, that's kind of crazy. But I think that seeing these IPs inside of gaming, just like we see it in television and movies, how long have they had like Coke or Pepsi? Well, you don't see both of them in a film. Usually, it's either one or the other. There's a reason for that. Because brands have infiltrated movies just like they will with gaming. And I think we'll start to see more and more and more of that, right? And one of the cool things to bring it all back around and why blockchain and NFTs are great is that blockchain technology can kind of help manage a lot of these things on the back end, right? Think about having a permissionless, blockchain managed, interface that, allowed you to be able to rent out IPs and get paid in a trustless manner where and decentralized and autonomous, where it's paying out. Like, so hey, if someone wants to use the GIA brand or the CryptoStache brand, it's X amount of dollars, you can go in, do this, boom, you get paid out, and it's all, it does it automatically. Now we're going to need things like that in gaming. Think about having something like that hooked up to Unreal Engine, like what Payton was saying, where it's like, hey, I have a whole library of things and I can go and include all these things and these assets in whatever experience I'm doing. There just may be some sort of small fee or something you're gonna have to pay to license those things out, for a cut of whatever you're doing, right? So yeah,
I think even adding on top of that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Adam.
No, Payton. Go. You're up, man.
I was just gonna say, like, even adding on top of that, like, I think a lot of people's I guess argument is like, well, they're just receipts. They're only pointing to something. And like I find that argument like being more of a validation of like what it actually is. Like if you have a baseline ledger that's decentralized, you don't have Warzone 1 happen, right? Like Warzone 1, everything is gone. You don't have any receipts. It's on a server somewhere that you do not own. Like, yeah, you can have achievements, but now in the future, let's say that there's a reboot, like maybe not even a reboot, but like let's just say what's that one that Dr. Disrespect and Tim the Tatman's playing right now? They're playing
Dead
another
Drop?
like
Oh,
Not the Dead Drop's the one that Midnight Society is building with Dr. Disrespect, but they were streaming another like kind of Call of Duty like
X Defiant.
X Defiant, thanks to follow. Like X Defiant can like just read that public ledger and say, hey, everybody in Warzone 1 had all these different skins. Yeah, it's maybe not going to be a 1-for-1 stuff, but like, hey, you get to skip a tutorial. Or like, hey, not just that, you get a skin for us because you're coming from Warzone 1 and we feel sorry for you, right? Like, I don't know. But there's that all those receipts too, like in terms of like Fortnite, like we can read the public ledger that Stash has these NFTs in his wallet and give him like, hey, he's a freaking OG. Let's give him some red carpet sequence. Like that's not something that's been built before. There's not this receipts that like on a public ledger. And I do think that's like something that's very powerful. And the longer we are alive within Web3 gaming, the more powerful that like flywheel becomes. And like, that's something beautiful, I think. Really it is. So yeah, that's all I wanted to add, you know.
Well, yeah, and you know what we'll see. Hopefully the blockchain doesn't get filled up with skins of just Nicki Minaj and just a bunch of barbs all over the blockchain. And on to Stash's point, like the simplification that sort of system would bring too would like all of like every gaming agency or like lawyer or agent out there is like, ah, shit, man, I'm out of a job because like it's all trustless and on some back end system that everyone is sharing now, which would be really helpful and useful, like you're saying, Payton. And you know, it's interesting. I think this is probably going to continue to happen and be the case, like with everything. Like, I mean, we only see like pop culture being ever more invasive into every aspect of everyone's life all the time. Before we know it, Elon Musk's Neuralink's going to be in our brain, like straight up, like beaming Nicki Minaj. Like you're playing Fortnite on the back of your retinas with Nicki Minaj, like in her ass bouncing up and down
into your retina.
while you're
you can't get a pink lace jumpsuit out of your retina. It's just on everything. It's pink lace jumpsuit everywhere, just booty.
No, but what that being said, I think that the gaming space is still very exciting, and there's still a ton to look forward to right now. Going into our last little segment here, the lightning round for this episode of Around the Metaverse. I want to ask all of you guys which unreleased game you're most excited to play, Web 2 or Web 3. So any game coming up that you're excited to play, whatever you're most excited to play, in a quick sentence. We're going to go King Apollo, Payton, Sanjay, and then Stash. King Apollo, you're up first, man. Which unreleased game are you most excited to play, Web 2 or Web 3?
Throw me on the spot like this, huh? It's all right. I'll make it through. I'm actually going to go Web 2, man. I'm going to go Web 2 and Spider-Man 2. I really want to play that game. I'm excited to see Miles Morales and Peter Parker in the same game. That's going to be really cool. It's been a huge IP that's been out since I was a kid. I've played Spider-Man since PlayStation 1. So, and I've played almost every game. I actually haven't played the last game. I kind of got into Web 3 right before the last game came out, so I didn't really buy it. But now I'm going to have to play that one to get into that. But yeah, that's what I'm super excited about.
I was an Xbox guy, so I always like, you know, the exclusivity with Sony always got me, man, with the Spider-Man games. It sucked.
Yeah.
All right, Payton, you're up next, man. What game are you most?
No, sorry. Yeah, Spider-Man 2 is like definitely one up there for me. But Blight Survival is something that like I was just doing like some type of comps for like champions one day, and Blight ended up popping up on my TikTok, and like it looks so sick. It's like a zombie survival game, but set in medieval times. Just looks really cool. That's a Web 2
I think
game.
I've seen that. Yeah, I think I actually did see something about that.
Yeah, so that one I'm looking forward to. I don't think there's a release date yet. But yeah, it's something I'm looking forward to.
So yeah, keep your eyes peeled, viewers. Sanjay, you're up, man. Which game are you most excited to play coming up, Web 2 or Web 3?
Yeah, I'm gonna give you one Web 2 and one Web 3. So Web 3 game, definitely Shrapnel, because I love FPS games, and you know I've been seeing Shrapnel being built for more than a year, I guess, or years maybe. So I want to see what is the final product. I want to play the game. I want to see what new it brings to the FPS, if anything. We don't know, right? And the second thing, this is, you know, you are an Xbox fan, so you probably know this. I don't know if you ever played Alan Wake in Web 2. So Alan Wake 2 is coming out
Yeah.
apparently this October. So I'm like super excited for that. That was like my favorite game on Xbox 360 ever.
Dude,
So
Alan Wake
I'm
is a
super
great.
excited.
That's such a fire, dude.
Yeah,
That's such an
that's a dope
underrated
game.
fire comment or game
Yeah.
you just threw out there. And then last but certainly not least, Stash. What game are you most excited to play coming up, Web 2 or Web 3?
All right, I actually got two. So I gotta say, there's two really great Web 2 game like traditional games coming out soon. Baldur's Gate 3 is gonna be amazing. I don't know if you guys get down with that old school stuff, but Baldur's Gate 3 coming out, gonna be awesome. And then also, yeah, Starfield. I just saw Gen X Crypto mention in chat. Starfield's gonna be badass, dude.
That was mine.
I'm pretty hyped about that one. I think that's gonna be really good. I don't know. Didn't you guys play Baldur's Gate or Neverwinter Nights? You guys do any RPG stuff?
I heard
No,
Baldur's
that's
Gate 3 though, like Stash is like a beautiful game. Like I heard it's like
Yeah.
freaking untouchable.
What style of game is it?
It's RPG.
Yeah, RPG, but it's kind of like if you ever played, well, Baldur's Gate is kind of the comp for other people, but Divinity Sins like 2 and all that kind of stuff, if you ever played that stuff. But it's like very story rich, lore rich, like your decisions like kind of affect other types of things. And so yeah, it's Baldur's Gate's OG. It's awesome.
Well, yeah. Well, in that case, you guys got to check that out if you're watching. And mine was also going to be Starfield, but I actually just remembered something about another older game that they're rebooting. Fabled. They're coming out with a new Fabled also, which is going to be cool, I think, too. So that
nice.
Starfield and that are on my Web 2 list, and I also think Shrapnel is probably like a top of the list for Web 3 games too, just because God, it looks so good.
Yeah.
But that's it for tonight, guys. We're running out of time here for this episode of Around the Metaverse. Shout out to all of you guys who came to the show and are still sticking with us watching. Thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight, and thank you everyone here on the show tonight for joining us. King Apollo, Payton, thank you guys for coming on for your first episode. Sanjay, thank you for coming back, man. Stash, as always, thank you for hosting us. Or I guess I'm hosting us, but thank you for having the show. And then, yeah, thank you guys for hanging with us tonight. This has been Around the Metaverse. Catch us next week for another episode, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. But that's it, guys. We out.